So last time, you guys were kind of licking your wounds and figuring yourselves out in this now empty hag home. Sefel keeping to their bed, kind of dissolving the knowledge that they had absorbed from the brain of Maven Delve. Indigo desperately trying to look for some food in the kitchen, and the very soon departure of Miss Loboda, in which there was a long discussion with Laura about how she just kind of needed to push ahead and felt it was best for her to continue on while you guys kind of sorted through your stuff. And then towards the end here, as Sefel meditated and Indigo continued their search, Indigo found a trapdoor, and down within the small crawl space of a basement found a wrapped up body, which still had a humanoid creature inside of it, with kind of this rough, pained voice. And they happened to introduce themselves as Pain, and they were helped up by Indigo and Stool, and they asked if, any of their belongings had been found, specifically, some kind of horribly mismatched armor and a sword. And then Laura went back out to the altar where the scene of Indigo's transformation occurred to meet with Grazit, in which they gave them new wings and kind of pressed them onwards to advance towards Gracklestug, where they had a pawn kind of in play, and he hoped to kind of expand his influence. So we find ourselves back in the bedroom. Sefel in meditation. Pain is push themselves up against the wall in fear, with a little bit of their face more revealed to show that they are an Earth Ganassi, and they have kind of asked you, Indigo, what the hell are you doing with a mind flare?
Oh, yeah, like I said, this is Sefel, and, well, I was about to say he doesn't eat brains, but he doesn't eat brains most of the time, and he's pretty cool. Again, you get to know him. He's a pretty deep, I don't know if he sleeps, trancer, I guess. But anyway, so is any of your stuff around here?
I don't know. I'll just quickly.
I'll look for you.
I guess.
I'll look for you. Yep. All right. And I'll start going through the dresser and bookshelf and whatnot, see if I can find any equipment for him.
Okay. He kind of just slinks out of the room and presses up against the wall and keeps kind of peeking in. Go ahead and make a perception or investigation check.
Right.
Either one.
It will be perception because that's the one I'm good at. And that's a 17.
Okay. As you're searching through a couple of the old bureaus within this room, you do find what looks like a old, dented, and rusted breastplate and a short sword.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I will grab those up and I'll walk over. And as I pass Stu, like, can you believe some people? Ridiculous.
I know, the nerve.
See, you get it. And I'll present the breastplate and sword to Pain.
Pain kind of gives you a quick bow and is like, "Thank you so much. I'll feel a little bit safer. No offense to you. I've only ever heard stories of them." And he kind of starts putting on the breastplate and kind of hooking the belt loop and the sword to their hip.
Yeah, hey, come take a seat, my friend. And I'll walk over to the chaise lounge and be like, say, why are you getting situated? What's your deal? How long you've been down there? What's going on?
I have no idea how long I've been down there. I was abducted
I couldn't even tell you how long ago. I think a while. If I had to guess, perhaps a week. I was just trying to make it across the lake. I'm trying to get away.
Get away from where?
And you can see like more of the wrappings is starting to come apart, and they're trying to like wrap themselves back up. And they kind of let some of it go and expose more of their face, and they're like,
I have a very particular complexion, as you can see. One that's very appealing to some dwarves down here, and I would very much not like to be picked apart for simple gems, you see.
Oh.
So I'm trying to make my way as far away from them as possible.
That tracks. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I thought so too. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing with that sentiment. But what are you doing here?
Oh, well, in a lot of ways, similar but different from your story. We're also trying to get away. We all got kidnapped down here. You see my friend Sefel, who's sleeping stool over there. We're trying to get him back to the grove. And Lara must be around here somewhere. But she's from the surface too, so we're trying to get back up there. We were hoping to make our way towards Gracklestug. We heard that was a place we might be able to kind of make some moves and head back topside.
I wish you the best of luck there. Something about your friend Sefel. You might want to do something about their complexion, though, as the dwarves might try to kill them because of the way they look. You know, the tentacles. They have a whole history with Illithid, from what I've learned.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've run into that a couple times. All right, so we'll dress Sefel up. That'll be fun. Maybe we can get him a hat. Where are you headed to? I mean, I know you're getting away from, but where are you trying to make your way?
I heard there was a Koatoa village somewhere across the lake. I thought I'd try to make my way there and maybe try to eke out some sort of living or...
No, you...
No?
No, oh, that was true. But, oh boy, that place ain't there no more. Oh, buddy.
What do you mean?
They got smushed by one of their gods, I guess. It was a whole thing. Very large. Very... Evil's a big word to throw around, but nasty.
Okay. Well, that's both frightening and unfortunate. I guess I'll perhaps just head out and try to find my way through the dark lake to another place. Maybe there's a small outpost or something.
Sure. It's a big lake. Can you tell me? I've never been to Gracklestug before. Is there anything you can tell me about it? Maybe places I should go, places I shouldn't go, people to trust.
Well, I can try to help you as best I can. Well, I would. Do you have a boat first? Do you have a boat here?
Yes.
Good. My best advice is to make your way across the lake and find perhaps an edge of the boatyard that you could perhaps sneak your way into. It's not as heavily guarded, and they have various Koatoa and other visitors make their way through the docks, and I would immediately find yourself lodging within Golbrorn's lair. It is probably the safest place for any merchants or mercenaries or people not of the Dwarga or Darrow. You might be able to find some news of making your way to the surface there. As far as trust, I would really not trust just about anybody you can, mostly amongst the Dwarga themselves. They are very crafty, very shrewd, and ill-tempered people, and it can be difficult to necessarily ascertain whether or not they are lying to you. They're quite stony in their demeanor. So be on your guard. Not everything told you from them might be of the truth. But also, you should limit your interactions with them as much as possible because, well, if they feel they can overtake you in some way, they will.
And and then they kind of get up and they get close to you. And they get very close and they go,
"You are never not watched. They are always watching."
Okay. All right. Always watching. Trust no one. Sneaking through the docks. Well, that's some great advice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Just to give you an even better understanding, if you're going to conduct any kind of business, make sure you have a good idea of whom you're dealing with. If it's something of illegal nature within the city's laws, you could find yourself on the short end of an axe or spear within a hurry. More often than not, their punishment for even the smallest crimes is death. And depending on what you learn, there is a very strict hierarchy within the city, starting with their king and the various clans presided over by their lairds. They all organize various parts of trade or craftsmanship within the city.
All right. Wow. Well, thank you so much. Hey, Payne, are you hungry?
I wouldn't be opposed to something to eat, yes. She only threw down maggoty bread every once in a while.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, hey, 4-star experience coming your way, buddy. You take a load off, relax. If a large woman with a sword comes in, she's with us, just say hello. Hey, Stool, maybe stand over here so Laura doesn't kill our new friend. And I'm going to cook up something nice for you.
Thank you.
And Stool's just like, yeah, you got it. I'll watch him.
I'll watch him like a hawk.
Stool's the best. And I pat Payne on the shoulder. And I'm going to go back to the kitchen. And so I didn't find any, food in here before. So I'm just going to, try to, rehash our rations in a way that makes them tasty. I got my cook's utensils. I have a nice, clean cooking surface. I'm just going to try to mix it up.
Sure. Okay. So you're cooking for 3, assumingly.
Yes, one. Well, hey, Stool, do you eat food?
I'm all set, thanks though. I'll just take care of myself. Don't you worry about it.
Okay. Cooking for 3.
Okay. Yeah, mark that off in both food and water that you have used up those supplies. We just got to keep a good eye on that. Laura. Grazitz has just left you, and you now have these beautiful black wings, and I'm assuming you probably take a moment to, look at them and admire them, the feeling of them again.
For sure. I think she's hanging around the altar for a while, while all this is going on in the cottage, and she's like testing them out, and just kind of like enjoying having wings again. Quick question for you, Will.
Mhm.
We didn't talk about this mechanically.
Sure.
But I'm assuming, do I have a flying speed now?
No. So these are going to operate in the same way that your falling wings do. You
Okay,
are
perfect.
still of the fallen, essentially subtype of awesomer. They are, I'm going to say, like, they're kind of weak at this point, so you couldn't technically fly with them, but with a little bit
Yeah.
of time, you could work your way up to short flight speeds when they are brought out.
Perfect. That's what I thought, but I wanted to confirm. Yeah, so she's just gonna hang out there for a bit, and then once kind of like maybe it's getting dark or whatever. I guess it's always dark. Never mind.
It's always dark.
And then eventually she'll walk.
Okay. As you're playing around, kind of testing out your wings and getting used to the feel of them again, you know, that full weight, and I'm assuming you kind of like flap them up and down and stuff like that. Some of the kind of dark feathers fall away and kind of quickly in their place regrow white feathers. So amongst your wings, like as you kind of flap them about, whenever one becomes lost, a stark white feather regrows in its place and kind of giving you this very slight speckled look amongst them.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all you notice.
Yeah, I think she's in a great mood. So she's kind of like strutting back into the cottage.
Okay. Yeah, just go ahead and keep moving that token. So you make your way back around the aisle. You go in, and as you enter, you see the little mushroom cap head of Stool kind of sitting on the end of the lounge chair, and you see what looks like a semi mummified looking figure with this red amber-like face, kind of resembling a gemstone, sitting there in a breastplate and has a short sword. And you hear Indigo, who I'm assuming is, you know, clinking around with pots and pans and stuff like that, in the background.
Yeah, Lara walks in, sees a stranger, pulls her sword.
I mean you no harm.
And Stool's like, yeah, don't worry about it, Lara. This is Payne. We found him down in the basement. He's cool.
You found a man in the basement?
Yeah.
And I'll pop out. Yeah, remember when I went down the basement and you were watching my back? And then you... Well, that's not important. I made mushroom cakes.
I had to run out. Who is this?
Oh, this is Payne. We found him in the basement. Mushroom cake?
I'm sorry.
I heard that
I'm gonna
part.
come out of my role-played trance. You made what?
Mushroom cakes. I mean,
Like crab
almost
cakes.
all of our food is mushrooms, so I just kind of cut them up and then put them back together.
Stool faints.
I was gonna say, have we talked about the implications of
Cannibalism,
eating almost entirely fungus while being accompanied by a myconid?
That's probably why he's infecting us with spores.
No, Stool like all of a sudden forms a mouth and just like licks his lips. He's like, mushrooms. No, I'm kidding.
And we're learning more about Stool every day.
Stool's just like,
No, it's okay. I'm fine. It's the circle of life.
They were assholes anyway.
I didn't like them.
Well, Lara's gonna move further into the room and point her sword at him. What is your name? Payne?
Yes.
Indigo, you have vetted this person?
Thoroughly. I put the tray on top of Stool's head after getting a nod of affirmation. Here's for your Payne. Laura, pancakes?
I'm not convinced.
If it would make you feel better, I'm happy to give you my sword.
That would be great. And she takes it.
All right. Sure. Yes, of course.
That's very rude, Laura.
Indigo, we don't know this person.
I really mean you no harm, and if perhaps I can find myself a second boat or something, I will be out of your hair very, very quickly. I'm so sorry to distress you.
A second boat. Indigo, you told him we have a boat?
Of course.
And I'm assuming you armed him.
Yeah.
These are technically my belongings.
So you gave him belongings that you found, you told him we had a boat, and now you're feeding him.
Check, and check.
Sval!
What? Can old before man, now weird tentacle beast not get some shut-eye?
We have a new friend.
If it troubles you,
fuck did Indigo adopt now? Oh goodness.
No, really, I'm so sorry. I'm not sticking around. I'm just trying to find my own way across the lake.
All right. Do you have a boat?
I don't know if I do anymore.
Well, that's a shame.
But Payne's been very helpful. They gave me lots of tricks about Gracklestug that I'm sure you'd be very excited to hear about.
Did you tell him what our next destination was?
Well, it's really uncanny the way you guys can just know exactly what I've done without even being here. That's crazy.
Yeah, do you guys have spores like I do that just let me into your mind?
Call it a hunch.
Huh. I mean, why are you guys so upset by this? It's not like he's gonna turn around and kill us.
And Stool, we just see, the slow motion, he rotates and looks at Payne, and it's just those dark, hollow eyes staring at him. Just dun, 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 dun.
Just, zoom snap on his face.
Yeah. And Payne's
no, I swear, no harm. Keep the sword if you must. I'll find something else. I'm just trying to find my own place of peace.
See?
Can I do an insight check on this guy?
Absolutely, go for it.
Does he
Anybody that
seem
wants to.
Are you going to Gracklestug?
No, I'm trying to get as far away as I possibly can from Gracklestug.
It's a 14 on insight.
You think he's telling the truth?
11.
You think he's telling the truth?
Lara, return the weird rock beast its weapon.
That's rude. I am a person.
I am giving you your belongings back, and
yes,
I know we do not know each other on a person-to-person basis, but that is probably the nicest thing I've said to somebody in the first interaction.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna set your sword here by the door.
Thank you. If there's not another boat, I don't know what's outside of this house. Is there something I could use as a flotation device?
I don't think we've seen anything else, right?
Bones might float. I don't know.
We've been hanging out.
There's a lot of bones. There was...
there's a very large stack of different types of zerg.
Yeah, I was gonna say
outside.
there's a log pile too. If we had some rope to fashion together into a raft.
I'll use the wood. I'll put something together for myself. Please don't worry about me.
Oh, so that's settled then.
Okay. Tensions are very high. I'm just going to go outside and get to work on that. Thank you.
And he just slowly walks out, just hands up. He doesn't take his sword from beside the door. And just goes out.
Sifel just looks at Lara totally straight face. I don't know what he means by tensions. I think we were totally amicable.
No, I was thinking the same. I thought that was perfectly fine.
He's such a weird character.
Indigo, what did you think?
These cakes are pretty good. You got to try them. Oh, I think he seemed like a nice fella. And, he told us we should sneak into the docks at Gracklestug. They're not the friendliest place.
Great job on getting that information. However, in the future, don't tell strangers who we are, where we're going, or how we'll get there.
Okay.
He was also watching me sleep. It's a little unsettling.
Yeah, perhaps don't arm them either.
Should I not have shared your social security numbers with him?
God damn it!
You check your bank accounts on your mobile phones and it's
Yeah.
already just like emptied, zeroed out.
Oh,
Your
Damn
lines of
it!
credit are all expired. Just everything is gone.
no.
Um,
My Gratz coin.
Yeah.
You look outside, Payne's just on this massive yacht and he's just like, farewell!
farewell.
Yep.
You gave our rations to him.
Once again, yep.
This is another thing. Don't touch the rations until you ask me.
Well, I would have if you had been here, but instead of looking at the top of the ladder, you were not there.
Yeah, you totally abandoned him. What if he was murdered down there? I couldn't climb down the ladder.
Which, while we're shitting on Indigo, why would you go in a cellar while Lara was gone and I was in a trance state?
Oh, I didn't go while Laura was gone. I went while Laura was watching the top of the ladder.
Now,
I had an errand.
I believe you, but just let me pose this question. Did you actually look and confirm she was there, or did you say, Lara, you've got me, and
I
then
don't think he
assumed?
did.
Nope,
He
nope.
definitely did not.
I looked her in the eyes and she said, I will be there for you, best friend in the world, Indigo. And I said, thank you for this affirmation of our relationship, Laura. And then I climbed down the ladder.
I
Bullshit.
would never
Lara
say
doesn't
that.
like anybody.
Exactly. This is ridiculous. It doesn't matter. Indigo, the pancakes are delicious. What is our next move?
I very much need to get some rest in. I am useless in this state, and we keep finding new things. So before anything else tries to kill us, I need to recover myself.
All right. Well, then we need to make a watch rotation.
That makes sense.
I'll do one.
I can do one as well.
Doesn't need to be relevant at this point, but I do recover significantly quicker than the rest of you. If it ever becomes necessary, I could do a double watch shift and still rest as I need to.
Must be that brain juice.
It does have extra electrolytes that
It's Gatorade.
I mean, all those synapses, man.
Yeah.
Ew.
But
right.
yes, I am capable of watching for a longer portion if need be. We could be in a worse spot.
Yeah. I have one errand to run on the island, but after that, I'm ready to get out of Dodge.
Okay. So what about anybody else? Does anybody else have errands or things they want to do on the Isle during this time period, or you guys kind of just want to jump forward? What are you thinking?
I don't think I got the chance. Well, I obviously didn't get the chance. There are a lot of desks and it appears bookshelves and things like that in this place. I would be remiss if I left a hag's hut without searching for scrolls or interesting tomes of knowledge that may be useful later.
Okay. Yeah, we will do that. What about you, Lara? Anything else you want to do here?
No. I mean, she would just be looking for Ashi, but I already did that, so I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, let's say after, or you guys want to rest first and then spend the time afterwards doing that? Like, how do you guys want to divvy this up?
Let's get the long rest out of the way first.
Okay.
I feel like that'll be
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that'll be
good.
more useful, and then we can say in the quote unquote morning, we do our last things and then set out.
Okay, cool. Well, Stu will take first watch, and during that time, as you guys are kind of settling into your different spaces to rest, Payne has come back in and has like requested to take their short sword just so they can like better shape some of the logs that are outside to kind of make themselves a raft.
No argument.
And like soon as they're done with that, they will literally take what they can from the well and be on their way. Like they will not bother you. They will not come back into the house. Like they simply just want to be gone. So as long as nobody has any objections to that, that will happen on the first watch.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Good.
Well then, go ahead and everybody mark a long rest.
Oh, thank goodness.
And because you have all taken some time to kind of digest what has occurred and what has happened, you all gain a sanity point back.
Ooh.
Hot damn!
Oh, yeah.
Very
Damn,
nice.
it's a good day.
Oh, shit.
It's just about as good as leveling up.
Wow.
Let's not get carried away.
Right.
Yeah, no. I like the sanity points. I like Fireball better.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Nah. I will promise this now. I will not take Fireball next level.
Sure,
Nah.
sure.
There are so okay. Get up on my soapbox for half a second. There are so many fucking better spells than Fireball. It's just a meme at this point.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Indigo or Safel, who wants to do their kind of thing first?
I got no preference.
Yeah, I can go.
Do it. What you want to do, Indigo?
All right. Well, our Maven Dell friend, Dead Haggy Lady, she mentioned that she had petrified one of the Brotherhood of the Wandering Abbey out here.
It's true.
And I would like to find them. I can't do anything for them besides just give them a blessing. But I would like at least to have the closure and get a sketch of them so when, Toro willing, I return back, I can tell folks what happened to this person.
Sure. Okay. Roll me once again, perception or investigation, your choice.
All right. It's always perception. Sweet perception. And that is a 21.
Okay. With only a little bit of time, you find yourself on the other side of the large rib cage of the dragon skeletal system exposed on this isle. You find yourself over at this statue here. I'm pinging it on Roll20. It's on the far eastern side.
Right.
And kind of on this makeshift pedestal, you see what looks to be a halfling figure. Posed in a kind of scared way. You see that they have what looks like a journal with a bunch of pages sticking out, kind of like posed semi up in front of their face with one eye peeking over, which you believe was probably just enough to allow them to be seen and petrified by the basilisk. They have a large backpack on their back. They have a little harp strung to it as well. You see that they had kind of shoulder-length wavy hair and a little goatee and mustache, like pencil stash. And they had kind of like these like quarter boots and a small dagger at their waist. And yeah, that's what you see there for this figure. And just like kind of based off of what you find for their gear, you would believe that this is the fellow scholar compared to all the other statues as well. It's the only one that gives off that vibe.
Excellent. And so it's definitely not someone that I recognize, but I can mark them as a member of the Abbey.
You know what? Make an insight check.
Insight is a 24.
Okay. The name is eluding you, but you believe that from your long ago readings with the Abbey that that there was a small halfling adventurer who came and went kind of with the same desires as you. However, they were determined to use their size to get to places and to explore areas that most people would never dare to go. And they came back with few scores, most people not really believing their tales or their writings, but the Abbey would always collect them, and they were almost more of a storyteller than they were like a factual reporter in trying to enlighten people. So they weren't necessarily put into the archives for any intellectual, like, major pursuits. But they disappeared about 200 years ago and hadn't been seen since. And so while the name eludes you, you believe that this could be that figure.
Cool. I'll say a quick prayer over them. I'll take some time to sketch their face and their fate, and then I'll also leave like a note, saying that like who I am and who I think they are, more or less. And I'm gonna leave that note kind of like tucked somewhere on the statue.
Okay. All right. Safel, you want to do some digging?
Yes, I want to look through her knowledge. I want to see what's in her closet. No more bodies, please.
Investigation or perception check?
Wait, let's do some investigation-y. Ooh, that's a sweet 16 for a 23.
Mother of God. Okay. You find in most of the bureaus and dressers within the room, mostly like horribly shredded clothing and odd-fitting pieces of various sized creatures. You think these are probably the clothes of other people that she had killed and eaten at some point or another, and just kind of kept their belongings, perhaps to kind of shift into when taking on a new form to entrap people. In the rest of the house, however, going through a lot of the desks, you find a lot of old papers that kind of fall apart in your fingertips. Some of the writing isn't necessarily clear. But at one point, you do find a journal. And it seems to be someone's kind of private diary. And it's kind of ordered similarly to a scholarly fashion. Okay. Cool. So if that is it, then you all pile into the boat. And you start kind of making your way around out through this aisle. You see the candles on the outside of this hut have begun to burn down the last of their wicks. And you make your way to what would be like the north side of our Roll20 maps, across the Dark Lake towards Gracklestug. After hours of tense navigation, you glimpse an orange glow in the distance. You hear those metallic echoes, and firelight illuminates massive columns with structures built around their bases. The cold air of the Underdark is becoming warmer even at this distance, and you can now see a variety of piers made from zirkwood, stone, and plain rock jutting out along the edge of a huge cavern. And let me see if I can pull up this great big map for you all.
Oh shit, new map!
What you see as you approach closer to these docks that kind of come off these small, tiny little peninsulas is you see what looks like a large type of bazaar kind of linking off into a couple of different buildings, all of these structures poking off of these gigantic columns of stone moving upwards. You see off into what would be the western side of our map, what looks like this tall kind of ruined building jutting off of an aisle. You see a couple very industrial looking buildings right about the docks. And a wave of heat slams against you as the acrid smog rises to choke the air out of your lungs. The dark lake spreads out beyond in a jumble of buildings and streets, reflecting the light of countless fires burning across the city within hollowed-out columns and stalagmites. Though the streets you can see are crowded, you believe that you would be able to move amongst it quite easily. You see all sorts of different figures. You see a small collection of drow walking through these wide streets. You see carts moving about. You see deep gnome. You see darrow. You see orcs. You see dwagger. You see a couple of humans, though very rarely, walking amongst these streets, clearly passable for all sorts of different figures. You actually see at one point, kind of out of the corner of your eye, what looks like a stone giant making their way to the far reaches of the city that you can't quite make out. How do you guys want to make your way in as you see these docks before you?
Well, remember, guys, Payne said to move in stealthily and make our way right to the safe place that had a name that I definitely remember.
And he definitely put it in chat at some point.
Golborn's Lair, that one.
Yeah.
Do any of you speak dwarf or dwarven, I should say?
Nope.
No?
Nah.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. Cool.
It's a useless language.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been here.
They offered it as an elective in the academy, but I preferred primordial, you know.
Yeah, because you're
I'm
a
a
bougie
snob.
bitch.
Yeah.
So you've received your warnings. You have this large city spanning out before you. You see the docks. You've been told that these people can potentially capture you or take you away. You know of the one place you need to try to make it to as soon as you can. What are we doing?
Do we know where that place is in this? Like, we know the name of it.
You know the name of it, you do not actually know where it is.
Is that mentioned anywhere in that journal? Like, does the journal have... I mean,
You
it
know
had
what?
extensive knowledge on a lot of locations. Did it
Yes,
have
they
anything?
did mention Golborn's, and they actually make mention of it in a place called the Blade Bazaar, which lied very close to the docks of the Dark Lake.
Okay.
So
Good
are we
to
going?
know.
Are we going to dock and then head into the bazaar, or was there somewhere else we were supposed to go that was not the docks?
I kind of remember going to the docks. We had to be sneaky at the docks. So, Laura, I think you should do all the talking, and
I'm happy to.
Sethel will do all the navigating, and me and Stu will be here for moral support.
Absolutely.
This is a terrible idea.
You know, and
I
while
think
you know, Laura, you are so charismatic and you are so great at this, and I pat you on the back and cast Enhance Ability, Eagle Splendor.
Oh,
Like,
thank God.
I would really like this to go well.
Thank Toril.
Okay. Could I have one more D20 roll?
I'll circle back on this one.
Okay.
Okay, that is a 7.
Okay.
Don't fucking give me that tone of
No,
voice,
this is-
William.
This is great. I'm loving it. This is really cool. And for anybody, this is to our listeners that have DM'd this, I have randomly redone all of the charts in here, so the numbers do not match up what they did in your own book, because I simply didn't want people looking this up and being like, oh, I know exactly what they're going for. So You guys are making your way into the docks. You have enhanced Lara with Eagle Splendor. You're just rolling up to whichever dock.
Yep. And we're just gonna start to tie off and walk on in.
I will say, before we get within eyesight of anybody, I am going to cast Disguise Self and return to humanoid old man Sefel.
I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for saying that.
I know that was a big. Everybody we've talked to has made a pretty big deal about me not openly being an illithid to most people. So
Yes.
So that is up for an hour.
Okay. So you have an hour to find yourself a place to hopefully rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with using our real names while we're here, but we perhaps should explain our relation to each other.
Best friends.
No.
What do you mean now?
Perhaps we were all on the same crew of a larger vessel aboard the lake. And we had to take our dinghy to the nearest town when our ship went down. Is that plausible for the lake? Is the lake that big?
You don't know.
The size of the lake is not the issue. Are there pirates of the Dark Lake, or is it something that most people avoid? Pirates aren't most people, but we don't exactly scream we are from here.
My concern is that if the drow are here and they hear about, well, us.
I will, this journal that I found in Madame Delve's, abode spoke of multiple clans and organizations that exist within the city, some of which don't seem to be sympathetic to the drow. Some of them seem to be, estranged from the rest of society here, or opposed, such as the Grey Ghosts. It's a thieves guild. Seem to be directly opposed to the Deep King, the general order here. I do not think everyone we find here will be enemies necessarily.
Great. Then perhaps we just continue forward.
If people ask, the shipwreck thing might be an option, but
All right.
we'll take each encounter as it comes.
I'm not saying we're best friends, Indigo.
The ship went down and we lost our captain, Jebediah.
No,
I'm all
I'm the
torn.
captain. This is ridiculous.
We lost our second mate, Jeremy.
I need to point out that you gave him this idea. He is just playing into your suggestion.
I didn't realize. It's fine.
You're just
Yeah,
so
don't finish
charismatic
this.
all of a sudden. Oh, wait.
Did I do that?
All right, follow along. And I will start to tie off our boat to like the dock. And then I will lead the group with a sure, steady foot into the bazaar.
I'm using my staff as like a knobbed walking stick. I'm not holding it by the haft. I'm like holding it by the top, and like he's slouched over a little bit more. He's kind of playing into the old man look.
Gotcha. As you guys are making your way up the dock, you see a couple of heavily armored looking dwarves. You see that their long gray beards are kind of decorated in this like 5-pointed spiky style. You see that they wear red leathered deep black iron and gold filigreed armor, plate armor, that looks incredibly hefty, but they seem to move with a speed that belies its weight. And one of them sees you all approaching and walks up towards you and goes,
State your name and business here.
My name is Lara. We're here for trade. Our ship went down. We're in need of resupply. Shouldn't be here more than a week.
What are you resupplying for?
Food, water, perhaps weaponry and armor if it is available.
Make a persuasion check.
With advantage.
Oh my god, advantage.
With advantage? You helping, boy?
Oh, she got that Eagle Splendor.
No, that's
She good
Eagle
for the
Splendor.
next
Right.
day,
That's
or next
right.
hour.
15.
Okay. He coldly eyes you over and looking at your companions goes,
How'd your ship come to be, did you say destroyed?
It was unfortunate. We ran into quite a few of those, what did you call them, Indigo? Grells?
Yeah, they came upon our ship and they just ripped old Jeremy to bits.
The poor child is, well, torn up.
Just like Jeremy.
Sorry.
This dwogger just stares at you, their face not even, like, just cold and still, and he goes,
Fine then. Be on your way. If you require lodgings, find yourself to Golberon's lair.
and they quickly turn a foot and walk away.
Well done, Indigo. Well done.
It's just so real.
Jesus.
This
really
rich
have a
fantasy-
connection.
I should have had you
Connection
roll
right there.
performance for that. That would have been great.
This rich tapestry that you've woven for us, Laura. Oh.
All right, that's enough. No cheers. Let's go.
Oh, okay. As you make your way across the docks made of this zirkwood, you see lacquered puffball floats, which kind of, look like the top of these large mushrooms that you see growing in different areas. You see ramshackle barges, some with oars or paddle wheels. They all look a bit ungainly, but each of them carrying large amounts of trade goods. As you make your way into the streets, however, you are bombarded with what I'm sure must be quite an assault on your ears and your senses between the smoke that is heavily prevalent within the city and all of the noise that has been so eerily quiet the majority of your time here, and the light. Everything here is cast in this orange glow. So it's got to be a little almost jarring to you guys, I would imagine, being thrust in here amongst these thousands of dwarves and drow and whatnot. And you have officially entered Gracklestug, and you're trying to make your way to Golbjorn's lair. How are you going to do that?
Any ideas, Safel?
Well, I am going to use the information that I have from this journal and use that with, maybe if there seem to be some amicable individuals on the street, just asking them to point us in the right direction of the, I'll use the bazaar by name. Oh, I forget it. Is it the Braid? What was the name of the bazaar again?
The Blade Bazaar.
Blade. I wanted to say Blazing. Yeah, so I'll feed into the bit. Excuse me.
What?
Could someone... You look nice. Could you show me where the
I don't have time for this. And he brushes you off and
The
walks
Blade
away.
Bazaar, please. But Jeremy. Jeremy. He said you'd be kind. Please.
Jesus. Eventually, a hobbled-looking, just as elderly-looking Darrow finally stops in front of you all and goes like,
What the fuck do you want? What are you doing here? Who are you pestering? Why are you doing such things?
Oh, God. Laura, speak to him. He's frightening
yes.
me.
Don't worry, Father. I'll take it from here. Excuse my
You have
old
quite a
senile.
fucking ugly father there.
Yes, luckily the genetics were not transferred.
Yeah, you're quite healthy looking.
She
I
does
bet you
Thank
have her
you.
I bet
mother's
you could work your
complexion.
back.
Sure. We're looking for the Blade Bazaar. Can you
You're
point us in that
practically in
direction?
it.
That's where we're at?
Look around you. Do you not see all the vendors, you blind, daft woman?
He was just complimenting you. I don't understand.
Are we
You don't have to,
near a
geezer.
wall? Are we near a wall?
No, you're not. You are about here on the... Oh, I gotta go back to my pointer. You're about here on the map. And sure enough, as you kind of looking around, as more of the people start to clear away, you do see all sorts of different stalls with different merchants hawking things and stuff like that. You see weapons, you see armor, you see food, you see different types of goods. So,
Is this creature smaller than me?
yes, absolutely. It's a Darrow. They're a small creature.
All right, he's being fucking annoying. She's gonna step up to him and just be like, all right, listen here. We asked you one question about where we were.
I'm so sorry, mistress. I didn't mean nothing by it.
Scram.
Okay.
And he runs off just like hobbling, tripping, and he's like,
I'm so sorry.
and you see like as he's running, people kind of like kick him and boot him out of the way and are like yelling at him.
This fucker was trying to square up to the only people he had a chance with.
Oh.
Well, you like actually all of you make either insight checks or perception checks, whichever one's better for you. Ooh.
These dice.
19 on insight.
That's
Okay,
good.
insight.
That's
What'd you get there, Indigo?
12 on insight.
12?
18.
18. Okay, so Lara and Sefel, you take in a stock of the situation around here, and things become a little more clear about the people and the social dynamic of Gracklestug, which is, as you look about, the Darrow seem to be kind of like scavengers and outcasts, kind of small beggars and peddlers. Some of them seem to be looking a bit like servants, serving some of the Dwagger, walking about the city, even some of the drow and the rare drow and a couple of the orcs and stuff like that. And you see them horribly beaten and other things, pretty well repressed. Very much think, unfortunately, and I hate to even bring her up, like the house elves from Harry Potter. It's the same, very similar situation. They're all very thin, lanky little creatures, just kind of tutted about. Some of them seem to have their freedom, some of them don't. And you see that everybody here, except for the treatment of the Darrow, are both very polite and keen on just doing their business and going about. And besides the two guards that you saw at the docks, you don't see any of them around, which is most odd to you, Sefel, considering what you've read in this journal, saying that there was like this heavy police force amongst the city and this very large military presence. But the other thing you guys notice, as you've been in other cities before, and occasionally you'd see like maybe a pickpocket here or whatnot, nobody barters. You don't see any pickpockets, nobody trying to cut a purse here and there. Everybody seems to be extremely well behaved, which strikes you as surprising, considering the evil natures you've heard of these people. But eventually, you see in between two caverns, or inside a cavern over here, in these large stone pillars, natural formations going up, that there is a small sign in Dwarvish that shows a kind of iron figure of a creature, which I would say any of you can roll a nature check on.
Natural 20
Okay.
for 27.
15.
15. Nice.
5.
Oh, no. Indigo. You don't know what this creature is, but Sefel recalls it, weirdly enough, that it is a depiction of a bullet. And you kind of put two and two together. Bjorn, is the dwarvish word for bullet. So it is the bullet's lair, and you realize that you have found your location. But another thing you notice is that it's gone extremely quiet as the four of you stand outside this cavern opening that leads in. And it's also extremely hot. And you feel it all, that heat radiating off of your backs. And that's when you hear this, like, chittering growl, just and as you all turn around, you all crane your heads back as you see this hulking, gargantuan, adult red dragon
What the
standing
fuck?
above you. And as this thick, scaly head kind of lolls down, their face comes beside you, one large eye peering at you. What looks like a smile creeps upon their thick face. And they go, "Hello." And that's where we'll end it today.
Oh, no.
Why? Why?
Hey, you, loyal listener, you've made it this far to the post show notes, and that means the absolute world to us. Thank you so much for being here. If you have one more second, we would adore you if you could leave a rating and a review in whatever podcatcher you're currently listening in. The ratings and reviews are astronomical when it comes to growing the show because it's what gets us noticed for new listeners. So if you have just a moment to do that, please do. And we also have a Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram if you want to give us a follow. It's at The Madness Table. And if you've noticed, we are now posting weekly episodes because of supporters like you. So if we haven't said it enough, thank you. And we will see you in just 7 short days for our next episode when...